what are you, some sort of professor?
And you went, yes, I'm actually going to hang on
And it
to
was
that.
quite, first time I came to Glasgow, it was when I learned actually that having a pint thrown at you was a sign of respect, not the opposite.
People always say that Glasgow audiences are electric.
Absolutely. Proper people is why I'm so excited to be doing PG fast food here as well.
Is it actually fully a secret?
So secretive. You're not allowed to talk. So you have to wear gloves. It's quite claustrophobic. I mean, it went viral at a time when things didn't go viral and continue to for a long time. Sort of correlation between me and a tea bag, although I was never tea bagged or did any tea bagging.
But then
not
you
teabag.
show up dressed as a tea bag and it
But
just
it-
really throws people off.
I feel like it was controlled controversy actually at that point.
It turns out he'd gone, Glasgow, we've forgotten all of our so people are just throwing them on stage.
Shut up.
Hi.
Welcome to your very first episode of Overheard with. This is a whole new chapter of Girls Overheard where we're going to be getting guests on and just having some different kind of conversations over here.
We're still going to have our normal main episode every Monday, but now and then you might see an extra little episode pop up, and today's one of those days. We have a really special guest in, our first guest of the year.
Yes, we have Stephen Manderson on, who you will also know as Professor Green. This was one of the most incredible episodes I think we've ever done. We were all hooked, listening so intently. So yeah, can't wait for you guys to all hear it.
So of course we're joined by, how do we address you?
Stephen.
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 Is that what you prefer?
I've never introduced myself to anyone as Professor Green.
Have you
not
not?
a single time. And it's funny, like I'll meet people and I'll be like, Stephen, they'll be like, what are you talking about, bro? Like,
Oh, you're bro, you said
yeah.
this.
It's weird though, like people that I don't know meet me and like will run me down on the street going, Stephen, I turn around like I'm in trouble. And like people I've grown up with will call me Pro or Green or...
So was that a nickname given to you by pals?
Yeah, I kind of quite sternly corrected someone we were talking about. Can I talk freely? I think we were talking about grows or something. It was something to do with weed anyway. And I quite sternly corrected my mate and he went, ooh, what are you, some sort of professor, Professor Green? And that was it, it was born.
And you went, yes, I'm actually going to hang on
And it
to
was
that.
quite convenient because it was around that time that I started, or almost around that time that I started rapping. So I was like, I'll just take that from the other thing that it was relating to and, you know,
Shut
just
my
carry
lab
it
coat
forward.
on and here we are.
Yeah.
Do you know what we did say though? The little note that we had for today's episode was PG, and then we were talking about The Masked Singer, and we were like, is that a
Is that
reference?
how
Did we
it was
miss
born?
that?
It wasn't, you know, but there were so many convenient, like, obviously with PG tips.
Yeah.
But we went for a posh tea bag.
A posh tea bag
I was an earl.
that you had to restrict your hands with so you didn't give away.
Give away my rap hands.
Yeah.
I think
I
there'd
seen
be,
you that morning on the
yeah.
telly saying that.
We did.
I do have very distinctive rap hands. Apparently that's because I'm a visual thinker. I never understood that until I did the autism assessment. And the lady, Sarah Jane Crawford, laid out these cards that had a story by way of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me to tell her a story. So I did, and it was quite quick and not very detailed. She took the cards away and she asked me to tell her the story again. And I did. And I didn't realise what I was doing, but I was using my hands. And I told her a story in far more detail. And then she went, do you realise what you just did with your hands? And I was like, no. She was like, you remembered where everything was and told the story by way of where everything was, and you were far more detailed than you were when you were looking at the images.
Yeah.
You're a very visual thinker. And I'm like, but I work with words. How is...
Yeah.
But it explained a lot about the rap hands to me, because when I used to rap battle, I'd literally look at someone and hold things. So I'd be like, I don't know how I'm going to make that rhyme, but I want to talk about that. I can make, you know, that's funny. They got rubbish shoes on, we'll put that there. And I kind of always reach for things. And when I write in the studio, I don't actually write. I'll just walk around talking to myself and waving my hands. I look mental. But
Don't we all?
yeah.
So you have like a whiteboard in your mind almost, and you kind of
yeah.
put things aside, and you must have a really good memory.
Do you know what? My line on it is I know everything about nothing and nothing about anything. I remember the most abstract stuff. I could tell you a lot about polar bears, but I couldn't tell you much about what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
That's so random.
Brilliant.
So see The Masked Singer, I need to know, because we are big fans in the house. It's like one of those only things you can really watch with the kids.
It's
all
quite
together.
nostalgic as well. It's like
Yeah.
your like Saturday night TV.
I wish I understood that a bit more, because I might have chosen a more like kid-friendly costume. I think that Earl was quite scared. He looks surprised and posh. I don't
Do
know
you
how
know-
that was never going to go down very well with the kids.
See if you glanced at it, like a quick Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Actual Stephen Fry.
I kind of get that. I
Yeah.
kind of get that.
Like distinguished.
So tell me
That was
this,
kinda
it's
like-
obviously The Masked Singer, like most people probably watching this or listening will know what it's
That's
all about.
Teabag.
Teabag, that's you.
All the work I've done to be Professor Green, you know, making a success of that, and now I'm known as Teabag.
You're Teabag. And the thing is, that's got its own connotations as well, you know?
Well, especially in
Big
Scotland,
Teabag.
there was if anyone wants to go and search YouTube for PGTV in Dundee, there was a gig that I did there, and I never actually met the girl, but it became quite infamous because she teabag to fuck was the line.
Oh.
And it went viral at a time when things didn't go viral and continued to for a long time. I think she left her job. I think she was working in Ladbrokes or something and changed where it was quite, yeah. I never found this out until like 10 years later because I actually wasn't there when it was filmed, but I only saw it when it went online as an episode of, you know, me being followed on tour. And yeah, so there was further sort of correlation between me and a teabag, although I was never teabagged or did any tea bagging.
But on the
I'm not
record,
quite
there's
sure
no
what it is,
teabagging.
but
then
yeah.
Not
you
teabag.
show up dressed as a tea bag and it
But
just
it-
really throws people off.
I feel like it was controlled controversy actually at that point.
Did
Quite
you?
like
So
it.
you picked being a tea bag?
Sounds weird, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
I forget what the other options were now. They were
I
both
feel like that it would have been
green.
something like
Well, I think one of
professory.
them was one of them was like I think one of them was a vegetable. Was it broccoli or a sprout or something? The tea bag was like. I think my brain just went to I can restrict my hands.
Yeah.
I can be quite
Yeah.
disguised,
Yeah.
and it's quite nice, like having an opportunity to just not be visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently that's what a lot of people who come off of it say. It's nice to be able to just be like
Hidden,
you know,
yeah.
hidden.
Yeah.
For
Enjoy
once.
yourself.
Unlocked a new thing for future shows. Maybe you take the tea bag
Masks.
with
There's
you.
enough rappers that wear masks. I'm teabags. No, I haven't got a wardrobe big enough to fit that costume in.
So tell me about Masked Singer, right? Is it actually fully a secret?
Absolutely. I was
did you do that?
so I think there was only 10 people who knew anything, but of those 10, like 5 or 6 knew me as Lampshade, so not as Teabag. So there was another code name beyond the character. It was quite it was a lot.
Letters, top secret.
So how do
Yeah.
you get in, like, you know, for going, like, for your, like, I was going to say hair and makeup, but to get dressed up in your...
Didn't need any.
How do you do that? Like, how do you get in the
How do you
studio?
do the sound
Like, what's the
check?
background like? How
So
do you do that?
it's so secretive. You're not allowed to talk. They encourage you to walk differently to what you would normally because you can also potentially, if someone's met you before, it will quite likely recognize you,
Yeah.
and there is security and stuff there who aren't aware of or allowed to know who you are.
Yeah.
And so when you arrive, you have to have, like when you're 10 minutes out, you always get a nod from the driver and you have to put on your do not speak to me jumper, which literally says do not speak to me.
Oh,
You
can I
have to
get
put
one?
Can I
on
get one of
your-
them? Yeah.
You have to. I've got 2, so
We'll fight.
yeah. What else? You have to wear gloves. It's quite claustrophobic. A balaclava, a mirrored visor. Your hood has to be up, and you're not allowed to talk to
Shut up.
anyone.
That's
You
extreme.
actually go in full ballet and they don't know who you are.
Actually
Yeah,
love
not
that.
even just
When
full
you're
belly,
gonna-
belly, mirrored
when you see
visor,
the-
and hood up.
Back of your
What?
neck, and then you're going to
Yeah.
see tattoos and stuff
That's
like
so
that.
true. And the thing is, as well, people actually do place proper bets on this stuff. So you
Yeah.
need to make sure that nobody finds out. 'cause
Nobody
they actually
knew,
do put
like, mine-
proper cash money out.
I think if my nan didn't enjoy it so much, she would have been well annoyed because I literally told no one. Because I was like, if I tell one person, that makes it more difficult to
Yeah.
not then tell someone
Yeah.
else, or for them to
Yeah.
not tell someone else. I just didn't want to worry, so I didn't tell anyone. I just told people, listen, I'm not around for 2 weeks.
Don't ask why.
But then I came off straight away, and I was like, I'm just going to pretend I'm still not around for 2 weeks.
They then puts on the do not talk to me jumper. I love
I
that.
need to wear that more.
So that's like your first like TV like show, isn't it? Really, like you've not done another TV show like that, like as in
Not
Like a
as
game show kind of
thing?
yeah.
Game show,
I-
that's the
like
only
some,
one.
some of the I did what was it? It wasn't Wheel of Fortune. I did something, but it was a charity version of stuff. I've done some game shows, but nothing
Like
where
a
my
one-off.
identity was
Yeah.
nothing
So
where
like
my
if there was
identity
another sort of like TV show that you would do, like my question is, would you do The Jungle?
Do you know what? I was asked to do it at a peak of my career when I kind of first achieved relative success. And at that time, it just felt like the wrong thing to do at that time because
Yeah.
it would have impacted credibility. Now, I'm 42 and I've got a son.
Yeah.
I'd love the challenge.
I want to be
Yeah.
George of the Jungle.
I think there's been such a shift in the perception of it as
Yeah.
well. I think it's a bit kinder to the contestants now as
Yeah.
well. Tinchy did it, and there was loads of stuff around people just not being able to really go, well, how can you be a rapper and do that? And I think I've trodden a really fine line throughout my career, and kind of managed to balance the commercial with the credible. Like when Read All About It came out, I performed on X Factor on the Sunday, but then was on Jules Holland on the Tuesday. And to be able to do something that commercial, but then something that credible was, really fortunate.
Beautiful song, by the way.
Thank you.
Actually love it. That's a song I could never get sick of listening to. You know, sometimes when you just like get your song and you just play it over and over, that's one. And Lullaby, have to say, beautiful.
Wicked.
Love the two of them.
That was about
Very
my great grandmother.
So. Beautiful songs, honestly. You've done such amazing things in your whole career, but even it's funny how there's probably one perception of you, and maybe I'm talking out of turn, that you see you, Professor Green, the artist, and you're actually so different in a lot of ways in real life. Do you get that quite a lot?
Yeah, I think people, and I'd never hold this against anyone, because our brains are prediction machines. We fill in the blanks. And I think when you're in the public eye, people will see an interview. And this is quite different because there's time for context and nuance and proper conversation.
Yeah.
But there wasn't so much of that then. So people would see an interview, or they'd read something which was embellished or sensationalized, and they'd then fill in the blanks, and they've got an idea of who this whole person is without having never met them. And it's why when like criticism happened, it didn't really touch me, because I was always of the opinion that it says more about someone who would make an assumption about someone they've never met versus the person that they've never met.
Do you think that's changed a lot? Like even the last 5-10 years when podcasts are a thing, people now get to talk more. So celebrities that previously maybe wouldn't have had the opportunity to actually say their side of the story.
Yeah, it humanises you.
Yeah, they can actually, there's so
Definitely.
many podcasts where you think, oh, actually, somebody can just come out the next day and say, see that story that they're saying about me, it's not true, by the way. Even Instagram stories and stuff, like celebrities being able to just communicate with people. Twitter was probably the start of it.
Yeah, true.
I used to get in trouble on Twitter.
Yeah. You've probably seen such a difference though between like from when you first started to now.
I think you lived through the hardest part of the media for sure. There's no doubt about it. Tabloids, the magazines. I mean, like you would have been in magazines. That's not even really a thing anymore, is it? So social media took all that away and kind of gave people a voice. But
then there's also the amending of articles. So they'll put something out and something will change. George Orwell in 1984. He mentioned just in that book there is the rewriting of history, because there is no longer books.
Yeah.
And I think we live in a time that's quite scary, because there is the ability to just change truth or change what was without any sort of record of what came before it.
Yeah.
And that's quite scary. I had a dinner with Vanderjack, Gary V online. He's like Vanderjack.
I think that's why he calls himself Gary V.
Gary V, because no one can say his name. This is it.
I think I've only seen his full
He's
name,
cool.
like his actual name, twice. And he said, what worries you about deep fakes and AI and that sort of stuff? And I was like, well, that stuff will get put out, and before you even have a chance, people will believe it. And he said, yeah, but what comes after that? And I was like, well, what about when you get to the place where people don't believe anything and people can get away with everything? And I feel like we're already there.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
there.
God,
we talk
that's
about AI
scary.
so much, don't we? Actually, it's quite
Yeah,
scary.
it's
Like it's a whole
terrifying.
new
Anything,
world.
like we've said that before, like people will come out, like if a dodgy video was to come out of someone, that is the easiest line now, is just to say it was AI and you don't know.
Yeah.
So
How
true.
would you ever know?
So tell me this, right? You've got a big connection to Glasgow. What is it? When was the first time you came here? What made you like it?
First time I came to Glasgow I was like 20 or 21, so like 21 or 22 years ago. I was with Mike Skinner, and it was a tour of Scotland. I'd signed to his record label, and we did a 5-date tour of Scotland. We did Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen,
Inverness.
I
We were
couldn't
talking about this earlier.
Not that it wasn't memorable, but my memory is quite hazy after all these years. And it was just incredible, the energy. Like, it was when I learned actually that having a pint thrown at you was a sign of respect, not the opposite.
Yeah.
I was like, why is everyone throwing drinks at me? Oh, I'm doing it right. Wicked, sweet.
we love it.
I just come in now and go, come on. Well, pints are a bit more expensive now, so people are a little bit less likely to throw them.
Yeah.
So you gigged there, and actually I had to look it up earlier, didn't I? Because we went to, when we were younger, we used to always go to Tea in the Park. That was the big thing.
yeah.
And I was like, I'm so sure
missed that.
I seen
Can't believe
PG
it
Tea in the Park,
stopped.
but I had to like go back and like check the dates, because I'm like, I'm so sure that it was like a BBC stage, maybe it was like a tent maybe. I'm almost certain I was absolutely pissed. That's why I can't remember it. But did you love that? Did you love doing the live stuff at the Tea in the Park shows as well?
Yeah, I miss. There's so many festivals that have disappeared. Tea in the Park, V Festival, like so many of the
dying.
festivals I used to do. But then there's loads of new ones being born, and I
Yeah,
love
it's a new
this.
age, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like,
I saw someone comment the other day around because there's new owners of XOYO, which I've got a lot of history in London. Most of it spent just partying, not performing, and it went on a bit of a downturn for a little while, and they're going to bring it back to hopefully its former glory. And someone said, "This is what we need. We need, 10,000 or 100 singular sort of 1,000 capacity venues versus one huge venue."
Yeah.
And I'd not thought about it, but I make them right. Like independent venues were, that was where the character was. You think about Barrowlands, like you can't
incredible.
build
Yeah.
Barrowlands now because there's history in the walls and the floor.
That's so
I
true.
love that venue.
do you prefer like a smaller venue? Like if you're performing,
Yeah, there's also there's somewhere in between where a big venue can feel quite small when it's right.
Yeah.
But it's relatively new. But the O2 in Birmingham, I think, is a great example of that. It's about 3,500 cap, but it feels intimate because of how how it's shaped.
Yeah.
Sweat off the ceiling. It's proper. I love that.
Yeah.
So we've done a few live shows, haven't we? That's been our first taste of what it's like to actually have an audience, and we've done
Yeah.
some live podcast shows. People always say that Glasgow audiences are electric. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Salt of the earth.
We're all up for it.
Proper people. It's why I'm so excited to be doing PG fast food here as well.
Yeah.
And there's a link because Hero Brands, which are the umbrella who did GDK, German Doner Kebab, and this is their next venture with me. And they're in East Kilbride, so they're down the road. They can keep an eye on it, and we get to launch the first 3 in Glasgow.
That's
First
amazing.
one on Byers Road, and Byers Road's wicked.
So cool.
I love
Post-COVID,
it.
everywhere
Nice.
changed a little bit, and the centre now feels a little bit less than what it was.
100%,
Whereas Byers
yes.
Road just feels like there's so much going on there.
There's so much good places to eat and drink down there, isn't there?
that's where like if someone had never been to Glasgow before, you'd tell them to be in the West End.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
where you'd send them. Yeah,
100%.
Byers
So
Road
true.
is the perfect. So that's obviously you've been everywhere in Glasgow. Like we were saying that the other day, we always see you on our feeds.
Yeah.
You're touring
everywhere
about
now.
Glasgow.
You're doing it right.
Yeah,
Wicked.
and you have
We
PG
will be
fast
after
food
today. I was in.
Yeah.
Me and A12 Funny went into. We were driving the PG fast food van in uniforms, and we managed to blag our way onto the college campus, like right up to literally the door
That's
into the
perfect,
college.
though.
Then we went into the college and managed to blag our way into the cafe and I forget what the other area was called, and you got to think some of them kids don't know who I am, but some of them did. And
you're
either
a
way,
professor.
well,
supposed to be there.
supposed
I
to
tried
be there,
to
students.
I tried to use that at the university. We didn't have quite as much luck. We got kicked out of the university today,
Oh, but
but.
Boo.
I did try and tell them, no, but there is because a guy recognised me and who was security, and I said, listen, I know this sounds like I'm pulling your leg, but I'm not. There is an actual Professor Green who I did meet who said where, and there's some truth in that. I don't think his name was Professor Green. He was a professor though, and he had said that if you want to come for a tour, you're more than welcome. But admittedly, that wasn't organised today. We were just
Having a laugh.
having a giggle and trying to make some
And everyone
noise.
was up for it. Everyone
Yeah.
was game for
As
a
always in
chat and-
Glasgow,
yeah. And whereabouts in Glasgow do you like to go then? Like when you are here?
Would you go out in Glasgow ever?
I never go out now.
Neither do we.
Neither
So
do
glad
we.
to get it over with. No, let's go out.
I
We're
never
past
go.
it.
I never go out.
Specific
Never
part of it
out.
though that you like?
Trying to think. So we normally
Or are you just too busy when you're here?
no, but we used to just party at the venues afterwards,
Yeah.
or somewhere local to the venue, the names of which I
Yeah.
would not have been able to remember even if I tried. Probably just
They're
due
probably
to the-
different now anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
will
probably
be.
all
Tell you what,
changed.
I can tell this story now because it's so far long ago. On that tour, so it was me, Example, and the Mitchell Brothers supporting Mike Skinner, the Streets. I didn't know this because I was backstage, but me and Example came out for the encore, and so we're on stage, and Mike puts something in my mouth on stage, of which there was like a 3-part photograph that we have. Thankfully, it wasn't press, and so like there's me going. And then it turns out what had happened was he'd gone, Glasgow, we've forgotten all of our. So people are just throwing him on stage.
Shut up.
He
Shade and
gave.
shade alike.
Oh no!
So I didn't even know and when I found that out, I was like, you can imagine, you got like 20 minutes to 45, and you really of like, and I was like, oh
my God.
yeah,
Try
it
to
was
find out what that was.
bit more anxiety than it would have been if I'd have known where it had come from. But turns out it was all right, and I had a great time.
Oh, did you? It all worked out
Misspent
well.
youth. Cheers, Mike.
That's amazing. Glasgow would be like.
What are we like, Glasgow?
We're such a welcoming city.
So generous.
You are a professor, you know.
It was research, chemical compounds.
So how did you end up with the fast foods place then? Is that something you've always wanted to do?
So I've got more chefs in my phone. This is the truth. I've got more chefs in my phone than I have musicians. I love food. I did a thing with a really good friend of mine, Gizzy Erskine, during lockdown, where she was sort of dismantling everyone's favourite fast foods and putting them back together with ingredients that everyone could go and get. And I was in Morocco, which sounds great, but it was state of emergency, so we were stuck in an apartment. We couldn't, use any of Morocco for what it's so brilliant for. But we were able to go to the supermarket, and that was fun because there was obviously ingredients that I couldn't find, but then there was all the stuff that like people were fighting over, or the news would have you believe people were fighting over in England, like toilet paper and flour, because everyone wanted to bake bread, and there was an abundance of it in Morocco. But then she was, so we were doing Instagram lives, and it just caught fire. She was teaching me how to recreate everyone's favorite fast foods while they were shut, and we ended up with a pizza restaurant during lockdown, actually, which was quite brave. We did a pop-up, and it just kept rolling and rolling because it was doing so well, and then we parked that for a while. I've started doing an event called I Used to Rave But Now I Roast, which was born of a hashtag from about 15 years ago when I stopped going out on Saturday nights. All my mates would pile in at various different times Sunday. Some of them would show up having not slept, fall asleep on the sofa. I'd be cooking all day, and then we would all eat. It was how I caught up with my mates. It's always been my favourite way to catch up with people, and then it would inevitably turn into a rave in my kitchen. But
naturally.
Yeah, so I've started doing an event now where we pair everyone's favourite, well, most people's favourite meal, I think, the Sunday roast with live music, which has been going down really, really
Baby,
well.
That sounds something that we would like.
100%.
And so it's been quite a natural progression towards it, but it was a chance meeting with Eddie Dua, who walked into, oh my God, I've forgotten the name of the place, Arcade Food Hall, which they also have a hand in. And I was there with my two friends, Kareem and Jason Julian. We'd just come from the studio. I tried to take them from noodles. Kareem was like, I don't want noodles. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just go to Arcade Food Hall, because it's like 9 food concepts, but table service. So you can order, it's one big menu from 9 different places, and they're all great. So we're eating,
like
and then Eddie walked in, and we'd never met, but he knew Kareem, so Kareem introduced me. We had a conversation for like 2.5 hours, I think it was, like, but not really talking about anything in particular, just everything.
Yeah.
And we left on, I don't know, Eddie was like, look, I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to do something together. And he had been cancelling calls on his phone while we were talking. And it turned out, like, so we've had that conversation, I've gone home, gone to bed, woken up to like all these messages from Eddie. I'm like, whoa. And it turned out that Atif, who is the man behind Hero Brands, the big dog, had been messaging him. I was trying to call him at the very same time he was with me, not because he knew he was with me. He didn't. He had no way of knowing. But he was with Becky, who's our MD for PG Fast Food, and she had asked him if he knew how to get into contact with me in relation to something else, which sounds crazy, but it's so serendipitous. And it was because of that I was like, I'm going to listen to the universe for once. I'm not really into planets and all that. I always lie about my star sign when people ask me. I'm like, I'm a Leo. They're like, oh, I can really see it. And I'm like, no, I'm a Sag.
What are you,
and then they
actually?
go, that's a very Sagittarius thing to say. And then I go, I'm a Libra. No, I don't. I'm a Sagittarius. But I was just like, this is all, there's too many planets aligning here.
Definitely.
And they bought a brand which was previously a salad concept. So there was this idea around greens and green, and then all the conversations that we had and the kind of many iterations we went through of ideas, which happened really quickly, by the way, because this was only about 6 months ago.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Am I not right in
been...
saying, by the way, that you actually did... I could be totally making this up, by the way, because you know what I'm like with dreams and reality. This could have been a dream of mine, or this could have
been a dream last
happened.
night.
Yeah,
Right?
really could.
But did you not actually have a song that said, "Hi, welcome to PG Fast Food"?
Yeah, but that was after the fact of. So that was like a lead in. So
Right.
I've got an EP coming out. I was going to say next year. We're in 2026. Hopefully it comes out this year.
This is your new
So
one.
yeah, we got there's 2 tracks out of it already. The first one was Cheeky. The second one was
Cheeky,
Another
that was
Life.
when I heard
The
that
next
one.
one comes out on 28th, 29th of this month, January, called No Management.
That's a whole other thing, baby.
Yeah, true stories. And they're just kind of like little nuggets. They're like more
Yeah.
freestyle driven, short, sharp, witty, cheeky.
I mean, it's
all
your
the fun
life. That's
stuff.
what you
Yeah.
talk about, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, I mean, I know it's rap, but it's storytelling. That's what you do, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
what you do so well. And it's like everything you talk about is real to you. So if you're going to literally look at all the lyrics, it's like a story of your life when you listen to your music.
I struggle not to write a story. I'll try and be nonsensical and like weird. I mean, I think I am probably just weird, but I try, and no matter what, I always end up with some sort of story throughout the lyric.
Yeah.
I struggle not to.
And is the story always personal to you, or like do you ever sometimes just make up a story, like you've had a dream and you've decided that would work really well?
Do you know what? There's always some like. I think it's hard to get out of your. You can always try and put yourself in someone else's shoes, but it's always your perspective on, or your idea of what someone else has experienced is always based on your experiences. This is going to get deep now. Have you ever?
She'll cry.
Have you ever looked in? No tears. Not well, obviously.
say that to me.
I would never stop you from crying. But no, I don't think there will be
You could
tears
try.
on this. But like existential psychotherapy is based on 4 pillars, which are like innate human fears, and one of them is loneliness. And loneliness not born of isolation, but of this idea that your feelings are only ever yours. You can act them out. You can learn all the words you can. You can paint them beautifully with image, with song, in conversation, but you can never actually share an experience because it only exists for you internally.
yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
That was, as we
Mad.
would say, that was profound.
That was
profound.
profound.
I think it's beautiful because I get why that's scary for some people, but I think that's gorgeous in that like there is something that is truly yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing.
It's your experience.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to escape from that experience, to put yourself in someone else's shoes and talk from the perspective they have, because it will never be anything but yours.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
just your
it's
idea of
authentic,
their,
isn't it? That's just who
Yeah.
you are.
and
That's
it can only be your idea, and it's your experiences and how you've experienced them, and that's
Oh,
all.
no,
That's
Hayley.
who we.
What?
I fear we're going into the I am me and you are you
Yeah.
territory. We do this quite often. This is weird, right? But you spoke about being weird, so we'll now show
Let's
how
go.
weird we are.
I'm
right?
ready.
We quite often will just have a moment where we stare at each other and go, I am me and you are you, and that's your hand, but this is my hand.
It's
Yeah.
almost like you're fully like really thinking about the fact that we exist right
right
now,
now.
and this is us, and you stare in the mirror and it almost freaks you out a little bit.
Yeah, you feel a bit dissociative.
It's
Yeah.
almost like you sober up too much. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So up so much that actually you start to go in another spectrum of feeling like you're absolutely off your tits.
Yeah.
That's like the trash. Do you know what I
What,
mean?
what hands?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm
They're
in
just
here.
these things that I've
Looking
been
at
told
you.
are
Just,
hands.
And you
Do I
use
do
yours
not
quite a lot.
Yes, I do. Well, that's why I'm holding the cup.
You don't need to hold the cup. Let them loose. Let them
So
loose.
back to the fast food. Are
Yeah.
you? We don't know yet at this point what kind of food that you're doing.
Are you allowed to tell us?
I don't often do I don't but abide by what I'm allowed to or to not do.
That's
So
great. That's great news.
I think the thing we're going to sell most of is probably UFOs.
I'm right in there, guys.
Yeah.
You're all of a conspiracy.
theories
Right,
there.
tell me, go on then. Get the metal hat out, shove it on me. What's a UFO?
It's a sealed brioche bun with a filling of your choice. So you can, like we're starting from a better place than, the other fast food establishments, which everyone will be aware of. We're not going to have to sell bags of rotten fruit in plastic, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Little plastic bags of near rotten fruit, if not rotten, to
Yep.
try and like make out that we're doing something healthy, which people never choose. Like what kid is going to choose that fruit over fries?
Yeah.
No one.
No.
So, but we're not a health food shop. And I think it's kind of made me aware of something being a parent to a near 5-year-old. Like, I don't want him to have, I don't want his idea of food to be stressful. Like, I want him to have, and this is where I think there's a really important part to the messaging, is like, you can be healthy. It's not a health food shop.
Yeah.
It's healthy, but not healthy.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't, like, food can be whatever it is. You're allowed to be indulgent. You should be able to have fun with food and explore, and you know what I mean?
One of life's
It's
greatest
about-
joys. It really
yeah.
is.
When enjoyed responsibly, like most things, isn't it? And I think it's more important than food always being healthy. The most important thing is having a healthy relationship with food, and that's something that we do want to encourage.
Yeah.
Please
so
do.
UFO. What am I going to have inside a UFO then?
Well, that's up to you, innit?
I feel like it
Taste
needs
test.
something like that down there.
It does.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just coffee shops and cake shops. We need like proper like grub.
Something a bit different.
I do
Proper
like
food.
coffee though.
Oh, I love a
Oh,
coffee.
I'm looking to create some relationships with some of the coffee shops down there. Like you sort my coffee and I'll sort your UFOs.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, your UFOs. That is such a funny sentence out of context.
Yeah.
You sort my coffee, I'll sort your UFOs out.
Yeah.
Maybe
Some
service
UFOs
actually,
if you
funnily
want.
enough.
It's, unless
part of
it's
that.
me being taken out of context in order to paint something sensationalist on a tabloid. It's quite nice taking stuff out of context and just being ridiculous.
It's so fun actually. We love doing that, like just a wee bit of controlled controversy, don't we? Just like,
Oh yeah, we're
just
doing
see
too
what
much of it
happens.
though. We're doing too much. We
I
just
know.
we can't
Yeah.
help ourselves.
People are just think we're bullshitters now, which to be fair, not actually untrue.
not untrue.
Not untrue. Tell me this, did you see recently that a lot of people have been saying that the 2026 is going to be a bit more of like a reflection of 2016?
It's all come back.
This is everything's due
That
to
was
come
the
back.
best Glastonbury I ever had.
Was it?
Yeah. If that book comes out, I don't even know if I'll be here anymore. That might be one I leave for
Because it was a
afterwards.
good summer.
It was a great summer.
Great weather.
Yeah.
Great weather.
I mean, it was painful afterwards, I'll tell you that much. But it was, I went with my pal when I saw him. Well, I got there with him. I saw him once in the middle and then eventually found him after I walked from someone's Winnebago 45 minutes against traffic in the wrong direction, realised, walked 45 minutes back to the painful, and then had to get my stuff and walk 45 minutes to the car and then drive what inevitably was like 5 hours home.
Oh my God.
But the rest
I
of it
hate
was
it for you.
great.
Oh,
It was all work, or was it? I don't know. But it was fun. 2016 was a good year. Sorry, that's all I was going to
Great
say.
No, it
year.
really is. I
And
feel
so,
like-
like, obviously, when you've been doing
up
like
for that.
any gigs or you've been performing, you'll have some mad fans.
My lot have always been quite lovely. Like I'd come back to my tour bus and they'd just be like packages with like salt and vinegar crisps.
Oh my God,
We literally said this.
Because do you know what? I was listening to the podcast that you did with Jamie,
Yeah.
and you mentioned the salt and vinegar crisp, and I thought he's going to like the co-op
Yeah.
ones.
They're a bit sharp.
They are.
They're quite
You need to
like,
take a
they're
few days off after.
punchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 4 litres of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And you just need to say bye to your tongue. That's it. It's gone.
Yeah, you're not tasting much after that.
Have you ever had a weird present though? Because fans love to give gifts.
Have I ever had a weird present? It's all been quite tame.
Food, is it usually
That's
food?
good though.
Yeah, they're quite considerate. I think all the documentary stuff I did really helped, so it became way less like sycophantic and more sort of like, yo, the work you do on and around men's mental health or mental health in general, and the kind of stuff that you shine a light on, and then the conversations and the interactions I'd have were more around that than like Professor Gray, you know what I mean?
You've really tried out so many different avenues, haven't you? Like
I
the
just
documentary
wandered
making.
naively into them. Yeah, I didn't ever mean to really do that. It was that was born off of Read All About It. So I wrote a song about my dad's suicide, and someone, his then widow selling a story, and that was where Read All About It came from, and how it, how I made it make sense for me. And then I didn't realize, right? It wasn't a number one when I made it. But it was my first and only to date number one, and it was number one for 2 weeks, and it was one of the biggest songs of the year. And then because of that, every interview that I had around it, of which there were many, then like to your point about there not being many magazines now, there were loads. Then whether it was magazines or radio, there was a period where people who can remember were probably like sick of me. I was almost sick of talking about it, but I had to talk about my dad's suicide in every one of those interviews. And what that taught me was there's a real power from presence, like the presence of uncomfortable things, because you can talk about them without being, I don't disengage from the emotion of what happened in an inauthentic way, but I can talk about it without having to feel all of the sadness, of which there is a lot, but I don't have to feel that every time I talk about it. And that taught me that. But having those conversations, I was probably the least likely candidate to open the floor to the conversation around men's mental health. But that was what happened. And I was asked to do a radio documentary for BBC One, which I did. And then off the back of that was asked if I'd consider doing a TV documentary, which was meant to be like a broad look at men's mental health and suicide in particular, but it wasn't about my dad's story and why he may have taken his life. Yeah. So it was a very awkward meeting halfway through filming when they said, listen, the thread that's working here is your story. And Toys Out of Pram, Baby 2. But then I was like, I don't want gigs to see me cry, like thinking about my peers and how they'd see me. And then I was like, nah, man, sort yourself out. This is the exact problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did it. yeah, then it was like, well, what else do you want to do a documentary on? I was like, okay, what else am I familiar with? Childhood poverty, hidden homeless, you know, things I'd either experienced or seen people that I knew go through.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they weren't pink or fluffy documentaries. It was
No,
4
quite
years
dark,
of
but, like, important.
important. And sadly, I think more important now than they were. Not more important, but I think they're probably, you know, people in those. There's more people in those situations.
Oh,
You know,
100%. There really,
than
really
there was
is.
now than there was then, which is a really sad state of affairs because you always hope that things get better. But like, I'd be invited into Parliament to screen documentaries and to have conversations, and each time I went, I just became more disheartened because there wasn't a single member of government. It was, you know, all shadow. So, you know, it was just you know, a room full of people who already thought, you know, were like-minded, as opposed to having, you know, people there that we could challenge or that we could educate or that we could talk to and
change their
debate.
minds. Make a
Yeah.
difference.
And at least have a conversation. And I think until those conversations start happening, it's either just one way or the other, isn't it? And, you know, but yeah, let's not get into politics.
No, but the thing is, you know, I think it is important to get into it. And what you're doing, actually, like, you're taking something that's like been your own pain, and although there's like obviously nothing you can do to change that, you're changing things for other people, and that I think that's really important. Like, you can take some kind of comfort from that, knowing that if there's one person that that's managed to reach, that you've maybe caught at the right time, that it's actually changed the whole course of not just their life but all their families. So that's got to be a massive, like, you know, boost to like everything you're feeling, that you can separate that and go, actually I still feel all those things, but there's another part of this that's kind of doing good for other people.
Yeah, it was not ever, you know, you never know when you're making music in your bedroom who it's going to reach, but I remember the artists that reached me. And to find myself in a position where I've been that for other people is still crazy to me.
Who
I
was
can't
that
compute.
artist?
Like, for me, it's weird. Like, this
You
is
love
why I
Biggie,
always,
don't you?
yeah,
I
man.
know this.
He was such a sensitive soul, all the bravado,
Beautiful.
you know, but he was so sensitive. And this is why I always, when I was doing interviews early on, and people would always try and, you know, go down the route of bravado and violence and aggression. And it's like, did you not listen to punk? Do you know how political punk was? But it was aggressive. And it's because there is a lot of angst that comes out of those social circumstances, and it needs a voice. And that voice is sometimes going to be loud, and it's going to be aggressive, especially to people who want to just, you know, shut people down by going, don't listen to him, he's shouting, or he's
It's
violent,
emotion,
or he's
isn't it?
aggressive. But it's emotion, and anger is an emotion like any other. It's valid. It's a signpost to stuff. You know, normally something's wrong. The problem is when people act it out. To your point about taking my pain and suffering, a very good friend of mine, Jordan Stevens, called me an alchemist. I was like, Google, what's an alchemist?
I'm a professor. What's an alchemist? That's another thing I need to add to the
I'm great
CV.
I'm great with words in context, but not so much by way of definition because of how I've learnt language. It's just been by having conversations and reading books, and there wasn't always Google. There wasn't when I was growing up, and it's turning lead into gold, and I guess that's the.
That is gorgeous.
That is it.
I love that so much.
He's good with words, Jordan.
Yes.
He's also good with having conversations around masking. He's one of the most intelligent voices, I think, and most measured and thoughtful and considerate and open to learning voices around mental health, masculinity, whatever that is, masculinities.
I think it's still got such a long way to go though, hasn't it? Like to get through to people. And like I've got a 14, almost 15-year-old boy, and I'm like, how do we make sure that like we've all got boys, but it's like, how do you make sure that you help them and they're not struggling and stuff like that as well? Because like we were talking about I'm a Celeb, and we were saying it was this year or last year, whatever it was, Ginge that was on it, and he was like,
Ginge and H,
all,
man, big up H.
it's all right to cry and stuff, and you just think
that was the line. He just stepped in and said his word. That was
yeah.
like,
wicked.
I think every person probably cried watching that part, because you were just like, but it genuinely is.
Yeah.
It genuinely
All
is.
you
It
need
was
is
lovely.
one person to say it in the friendship group as well, because they're all putting a front on, and all you need is one person to like break that barrier, and then they'll probably all open up to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
It
wonder
was-
what those boys will be like when they become men. Like, I wonder what like our kids is what I'm meaning.
Yeah.
Like, what will
It's a whole
change?
different
'Cause
life.
I feel like you even see it. Like, my little boy's only going to be 9 next month, and I'm like, I can see little things like he just changes around friends, and it's almost like they're just putting on this coat of armor among their pals. So
and then it becomes somewhat
it's
performing
mummy at home,
for
and then
us,
it's mum and company. You know, just things like that. or even like that. It's simple wee things that I go, that's almost just been ingrained in you from a very young age, and it's a peer thing.
Yeah. I think there's so much that's gone into that. You know, people talk about patriarchy, they often don't, and understandably, because of what women have had to go through and fight for. But we don't often look at the impact on men, especially like working class men, which I would argue patriarchy has not benefited, but it's been something that's been imposed on us as well. And then when you look at, you know, mums, especially, my nan brought me up, right? So single parent, essentially, guardian, whatever. Kinship carer is the line now. That's the name now. I said to my nan when I found that out, because I did some work with Kinship, the charity, I was like, Nan, do you know you're a kinship carer? She went, kinship what? Just your nan. All those archetypal ideas of what it is to be a man are ingrained in women as much as they are in men. And so when those expectations are put on the boys of mums, you know, it's so hard to undo all that, and we have to have these conversations in the hope that it can change, and we don't just fall into, you know, what we've seen and what we've been told, because we're all told stories, and then we start telling those stories to ourselves, and if we don't update that library of stories, you know, reassess as to, you know, what stories are useful and what actually makes sense now I'm a grown-up, it's hard. I'm 42 and I feel like I'm only just becoming a man.
Yeah.
Like, and my son, you know, far from it to have been his responsibility to come along and teach me anything, but he's taught me way more than I feel like I've taught him. But that will hopefully aid my ability to model better behaviour, because I've had to expedite my learning and understanding of things in a way that I wouldn't have if he never came along.
But I think that's just having kids in general. We actually say this all the time, that if you think back to pre-kids, also for us, we had our kids quite young. So my daughter's 10. And I think back to when I first had her, and I felt like I was 22, I felt like an adult. I was like, I'm a full-fledged woman. And I think it only, literally, the frontal cortex lobe, whatever we're calling it, only just hit in about 26. And I feel like I actually fully remember going like, everything's settled down. I'm now a different person. But having kids, no matter where that falls in your life, just changes you. There's no doubt about it. It's the biggest flip of your whole life. Never mind moving out, meeting someone, getting married, none of that. It's as soon as you have someone else to look at and no longer just yourself, everything changes.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of men, you know, when I think back to like my dad was 18 when I was born, my mum was 16. And I felt like a grown up at 18. At 42, you know, my kid's nearly 5 now. I'm just like, you know, I was nearly twice my dad's age when he was born.
Yeah.
No, what am I talking about? I was more than twice my dad's age when he was born.
You had to grow up quick because you're in the public eye.
Yeah, but it don't mean you grow up. You try to.
You pretend. That's
you know,
it. It's a
and
pretense.
you might have had to deal with things that shouldn't have been. Like I had to deal with things that a kid shouldn't have to. Right? Many kids do. But with that, there's this perceived notion that you've grown up quickly, but you haven't. You've just survived. Yeah. And it's great being a survivor because you know you can survive. That's really valuable if you look at it from, you know, that angle. But a lot of people, they fall into their trauma and their excuses. And it's easier to live in that misery. Yeah. Because outside of that, you have to take responsibility and you have to accept there's no contract with the universe and you're not owed anything. And you have to take responsibility for you, for your feelings, irrespective of what has prompted them. There's a point where you either engage with what's going on internally. There's the thing in psychology called locus of focus, which is location of focus. And both are necessary: extrinsic locus of focus, external, and intrinsic locus of focus, internal. But people who don't achieve internal locus of focus, who don't have that ability to look inwards and assess things from a place of they're my feelings, you know, that there's no ascension into adulthood. Then you just get stuck with all of that stuff that's hardwired when you're a kid. And it's so scary having a kid and knowing that everything that happens now is, you know, having an effect however many years down the line.
I think of this all the time.
It's
silly little
responsibility.
Things. And it doesn't even need to be anything big, but I'm always like, I wonder how they view me. What does it look like from their vantage point? How am I treating them? How do I speak to them? How does it look when they look over at me in the morning? Am I standing like on my phone, or are they looking?
Bad,
do you know what
it?
I mean? Like I really deep that,
especially when you know that
all
like
the time.
You can look back on when you're younger and you go, oh, that person said something to me, and that really sticks.
Yeah, you can remember it now as an adult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You feel that feeling again, and you're like, I could do that at any point and have no awareness of
it's
it.
a massive imprint on them, and then you can't change that. That's it.
It's terrifying.
It
And
is
you
quite
think about what you
terrifying.
might have done to avoid feeling like that again. So you might try and please more
Yeah.
to avoid those feelings that you felt when you did something, or you were made to feel. I guess you can be, especially at that age. But, you know, you were, for lack of better language, made to feel something that you didn't want to feel. So you're like, okay, well, what can I do behaviourally to avoid that happening again?
Yeah.
And that carries on all through your adult life. And you're like, why am I so avoidant of this stuff? Like, unpicking it all is, you know, I think self-awareness is a burden, but it's important. But
Yeah.
it doesn't make things lighter or easier
No.
because you're not afforded ignorance anymore. And to have that self-awareness and to want to kind of get under the hood of stuff is, you know, it's ugly. It is. It's really, like, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And to stop blaming, you know, to go, hey, I'm accountable. I'm
Yeah, that's
responsible. Albeit I can make sense of the what, the when, the why, the how. I want to stop that now. I don't want to behave in that way anymore. And
It's getting that
Shame
balance
comes
getting
with
to that
admission,
point.
though. That's the thing. People
Yeah.
can't cope with it. That's what it is. A lot of it
Yeah.
is like shame, but I think that also can work against you as well. I want to try and just, like, even over the Christmas break, we were saying this, you're almost wanting to just, like, live in the now. And I know you said you had your son off for quite a long time from, like, school and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but you're almost going, like, I want to take all this in, like, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to, like, just go, I'm living in the now, because you're so hyper focused of trying to make sure you're doing exactly that.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
It's difficult not to think too far in front or look too far behind.
Especially since time speeds up when you have kids, and like
Yeah.
even from 5, like your wee boy's 5, isn't he?
About to be
Nearly,
five.
yeah,
Nearly
it's 5
5.
in March.
Like my oldest is 9, and it genuinely feels like a year since he was 5. Like it
Yeah.
speeds up so much when they start school, and you just know that that's probably going to happen again between now and him being 14.
Yeah.
Like it's terrifying.
I know. It is crazy. And the thing is as well, like, kids, that's all the scary stuff, but kids are fun. Like the
So
minute that
fun.
my little boy, honestly, is mad. I love both of them the exact same, right? And I wouldn't mind saying this to my daughter, because she would probably agree. See, if I was stuck in a desert island,
Yeah.
he's the one I'm picking. He's funny. He is, honestly, he is.
You
his-
should probably said you can only pick one just to get into
I
that.
know.
Otherwise,
yeah.
I love
He
how you just
is-
said this could be the one thing that she hears that makes her go, oh, I'm
I
not
know.
coming to the
She
desert
should be
island.
listening to this podcast. We talked about taking something dodgy a minute ago. But yeah, see, like, he's so funny, like, he's loving, like, he's just hysterical.
Yeah.
Is your boy funny?
he is, yeah.
What is there anything he's ever done? Because we actually used to always speak about, quite often we would share notes, didn't we, on like the things the kids have said this week to embarrass me,
Yeah.
or the things that they've said in public. Is there anything that swings to your head?
Well, just there is no filter, is there, with kids?
No.
I remember when he was nearly or 3, and we were on a bus, and he was grabbing my shirt, and he went shit, and like you correct them louder, so everyone and I was like, you mean shirt? And he went shit, even louder, and I went shirt, and he went shit. And I was like,
Oh my
Like, I don't know where he's heard that word from.
Stressful.
and he goes, but we've kind of, between his mum and I, taught him every swear word by going swear jar, swear jar, swear jar. And Karima is probably a bit better than I am at actually collecting those pounds off of people. But people are in debt, especially some of my mates. But like he knows every time that he goes swear jar, swear jar, swear jar. So he knows what the words are. If he wanted
Yeah.
to say, and sometimes,
Yeah.
little fucker, he goes. And I'm like, and he
You
goes,
don't say it.
he doesn't.
Don't
He
say
doesn't.
it.
But he just goes.
Just to see what you're going to
Do
do.
you know,
Yeah.
that's like when my kids were younger, they're not allowed to tell each other to shut up.
Yeah.
So they would say, shut.
They're not allowed to not
And
say.
then you're trying to
Yeah.
teach them what intention is.
Yeah.
Because Slimane
I'm
will
like,
do that as well.
everyone
He's
knows
like,
what
I
you're
didn't say
saying.
that. I didn't say
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, yeah, but I know what you
were
meant.
I was
Only
like, what the
you're
flip?
wanting to.
His
I'm
new,
like, come
Yeah.
on.
I
It's all
do
the
what my-
YouTubers know that. That's what they just copy them.
I do what my nan does, and like it's the only swear word she wouldn't like me to say this, but she might say cunt, but she
We like that word sometimes.
but she never said shit. She always said sugar. So now when I'm talking, I use it almost as if it's another, not even as though I'm saying it.
Yeah.
I go, oh, sugar, and I'm like, oh, hello, nan.
Jack used to do that all the time, didn't he? Every time he dropped something, he'd go, for fuck's sake. But it was literally about 3, Lauren. And I'm not being funny, right? I don't know, we've not made the connection here, but Lauren is married to my brother. And then Ailey's husband and my husband are best pals. So there's there's a link in here, right? So my nephew Jack, he used to drop stuff all the time, and the way that he said it was directly from your mouth.
Yeah, it was
His mouth opened and Lauren came out. It was always when he dropped something, it would be, oh, for fuck's sake. And my mum used to just turn around and go, you mean oopsie daisy? nothing like
it never changed.
Literally nothing like it. Pulls apart
Child.
actually, but kids are
They
so
keep
funny.
it in until the worst possible time. They could hear a swear word and they go, I'll bank that until we're in public.
It's
I
all
feel
in
like
there, isn't it?
it's
That's the other
different
thing,
though,
is they've got so much in there before they even start being able to,
Yeah.
I know.
to vocalise
I
it.
feel like the approach to swearing as a parent has changed. Well, mine has anyway.
Yeah.
Because I still would never swear in front of my mum, ever.
That's
Right?
so weird to me.
Is
Because
it
that's
really?
where I don't C-bomb it. I definitely don't do that one.
I'm from East London. It's a term of endearment.
Yeah, well, so here as well, you either get a good one or a bad one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
the way it is. But
GC in Australia, that's like the highest level of friendship.
is it?
Is it?
Yeah, so James Smith told me, yeah.
I used to just think it was person. Because my granddad, he's like proper, like, well, he's passed away, but he is born and bred Glasgow, like the C word constantly getting used. And I used to hear it all the time. He sweared so much actually, and we never ever used to say it. We just knew that they were bad words, but we'd never
Yeah.
say it. And I remember one time he came back in and he said something about like, well, the actual story was I called my brother a stupid cunt when I was about 7, right? And my mum nearly hit the roof.
So I can just laugh now in my head there. I almost wanted to catch my face. You know that thing you do when you're trying to like, oh, I've got to hold my cheeks. I can't be seen to laugh at my kids. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
I
cut you
just
off.
know. Well, this is 7-year-old me.
Yeah.
And my mum was like, "Where have you heard that from?" I'm like, "Granda says it all the time. He says every cunt was down the news agents and every cunt
That
was over there."
was exactly
I
the
swear
same
my life,
word.
I'm not even joking. I thought that just meant person.
Fair enough.
And to be fair, it kind of does.
It does.
It does, yeah.
I would say it does.
And it's
Yeah,
actually
some of them
good
are
on
good,
you.
some of them are bad.
Something good,
You've
something bad.
worked out what that word means from the
Yeah,
context. Actually, good on
Exactly.
you.
Oh, I need to ask this question, right? Talking about going back in time. Have you ever heard of any Glasgow disses? So growing up, this is a big part of our culture, right? We used to be, what age would you say? Like MSN days. Did you have MSN?
Of course I had MSN.
Sign in, sign out, don't talk to me. Don't talk to
BRB,
me.
pay for a shower.
Yeah, put your boyfriend or your girlfriend in your little bio and all that. So you had, Prof had MSN, this is class. So we're all in the same boat here. On MSN, it used to be a big thing. There was PC DJs. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is this something that just
Is this
did not
something
travel
new?
down south?
Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you about
I
this.
feel
Like
like
you're a
maybe-
DJ on the PC.
I feel like I've seen
Maybe
PC.
there's going to be something that's
The
equivalent,
I
but
feel like the only equivalent would probably be MCing. You know, the
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
who do all the MC stuff.
Yeah, but, like, in what context?
So they would just do it in their mum's bedroom, basically.
Yeah.
And they'd
Oh.
sit around, they'd all be around the Packard bell,
Oh,
each taking a
right,
turn.
no.
But they'd be doing diss
This is
tracks.
new to me.
oh, it was
Oh,
delightful.
let me come into our world for a second. You're going to love this. This will be on your FYP later on. But basically, when we were younger, it used to be the thing that people at school, like we'd what, like 13, 14, 15,
Yeah.
roughly that age group,
round about there.
boys would all collectively get together, and it would be like boys from different areas would all diss other guys from different areas, right? And they would sit and, to be honest, it was lyrical genius.
It's poetry.
It was
It's
Some of
poetry.
them were very
Commendable.
good, by
Very
the way.
good.
It's a
like-
battle rapper, I'd have
was
to
battle
agree.
rap.
Yeah, that's
Kinda-
pretty much what it
basically
is.
is a battle rap, but you put it to like a DJ beat and
Speed the song up and get the pitch up so that it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bit chipmunk like, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was really, really bad mics. Like you couldn't always hear exactly what they were saying.
I think it would actually be off a webcam, really.
It was
Yeah.
probably off a webcam, just pull in that audio.
Yeah.
And this was a thing that we grew up. It's a whole culture for us, isn't it?
But that's so interesting because that's obviously how we dealt with the rap battles. We had our own spin on it.
Like, see, like that, it was like, for example, John Smith, you're so fat, you're getting done with a baseball bat. And
Yeah.
see, someone said, "Oh my God, you know John Smith?" I'm like, "Oh my God, John Smith, you're so fat, you're getting done with a baseball bat." Is that the same John Smith? Do you know what I mean? Right?
Rolls off the tongue.
It rolls off the tongue. I'm telling you now, right? You talk about not having memory of things. I probably could recite every one of those.
Matt, do you know what? I believe it though. People quote my battle lyrics to me, and some of them I remember. Some of them I'm like, are you just cussing? No, that's your lyric. Oh, I
Some
thought
of
you
them
were
are
just,
so funny
I
though.
thought you were just cussing me.
Do you make them like when you were doing that? Were you literally taking that off the top of your head and doing it as you speak?
Yeah, some of it was more freestyle than others. So like you can't not think if you know who you're battling, that's going to be on your mind. So irrespective of whether you write it down or not, it's still it's how I write now. I wouldn't say to someone I don't write lyrics. I don't write them down but I do write them in my head.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to see inside the head. Just to see like a few post-it notes and like all
would
of our
you,
same.
would you think of like that word rhymes with that word, I'll use that in future, that
sort
kind of thing?
yeah, and just like things that you knew or could see that you could make light of, and just trying to be like, sometimes it was the most ridiculous stuff. I can't think of anything off the top of my head now, but it was just the silly stuff that people could tell was in the room, like was happening there. Because sometimes when you find, because you're freestyling, so you'll find yourself in a rhyme scheme that you didn't think you were going to land on, and now you've got to rhyme a word that you had nothing prepared for or even thought about, and then you just say what comes to mind. And going back to Skinny Man again, he always says, freestyling is dangerous because that's where the truth comes out. And it can be,
I wouldn't cope.
it can be dangerous because you just, it comes out, and it's not like you've had a chance to, and especially for me, like,
It's word vomit.
It's word vomit.
but it was, all bets were off. It was whatever. Like, you're on stage, like someone says something about your mum. It's not your mum. It's like the
fictional.
It's just your mama.
It's just
Yeah.
it's your rap battle mum. She's not
Yeah.
your, you know
She's
what I
not
mean?
real,
So you wouldn't take it personal,
No,
like after?
no. But I always used to just look. I mean, it was quite, it was quite easy for me to look uninterested because I don't think I used to have much expression anyway. It was I was like my first long-term relationship, and she went, "What's wrong with your face? Like, you have no expression." And I was like, it turns out I'm autistic. Find out all these years
Cheers,
later.
hon.
But then I was like, I became quite animated, and that fed into like my music video performances and stuff. And people always, people will talk about that and reference it, and they'll like ask me to do stuff that they've seen me do, and I just
Like
laugh to
what?
myself. I don't know. I just make stupid faces, and I'm quite expressive, but it's not natural, or it wasn't at a point. It was something I learned
Someone
to
pointed
be.
it out, and you
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
like corrected that, and
Yeah, it was masking, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like on stage, sorry to go back to, I go around the houses sometimes.
Oh, so do
That's
I.
us.
All
we
the time.
We forget what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Completely, don't we?
I'm getting I kind of have to make mental notes along the way. It's like leaving litter behind me just so I can find my way back to what I'm talking about.
Hansel and Gretel.
Absolutely. But on stage, I would just appear as, being completely uninterested. Disinterested, uninterested.
Both, I think, work.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
I feel like
You're the
disinterested.
professor, you get to
Yeah.
choose.
To be honest, it looks like I couldn't care.
But yeah, just not paying attention, but I was listening intently because I wanted to throw their lines back at them. So whatever I could
Yes.
take their lines and make them into, it showed people that it was in the room. It was happening there and then
Yeah.
because there was no way to prepare for that. And they were the lines that always did the best because people felt a part of it. It was in the
Yeah.
room. That energy was
Yeah, it was
all there.
live.
I would love to go to something like that. I would love to
Same.
go to a rap battle.
Me
I
too.
love watching
I
them.
don't,
on,
I couldn't be a part of it.
Oh,
Obviously,
no.
couldn't spit the lines, no chance. I wouldn't be quick enough at thinking, but also couldn't take it either.
No, definitely not.
I'd find it really quite upsetting.
I think if I was actually a lyrical genius, which we know I'm not, I actually think it'd be quite good. I think it would be quite cathartic.
Just to get it out there.
Yeah.
When you were younger, were you quite shy then, like quite quiet?
So I think with hindsight, I was considered versus I was always told I was shy, and that kind of became me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, like, if I saw something I didn't agree with, and it was often when it was happening to someone else less than it was me, I would always stand up for that person or put my hand up if I disagreed with something, or if I knew something to be or thought it was wrong, but whether I was right or not, if I believed it, I would put my hand up and say something, or stand up and say something. So
Was that like justice sensitivity they call it or
maybe,
something? Is that what it
yeah.
is?
I mean, I can get quite stuck on things
Injustice
if,
complex.
but then
Yeah.
you
It's a
end up,
habit.
yeah. But then it can do your head a lot of damage. That getting stuck in loops
Because you
of
can't
trying
fix
to.
the world. You can't fix
You
the
can't,
world.
and you don't need to make everyone wrong. You don't always need to be right. You can also just step out of a situation. But yeah, to your question, I think everyone told me I was shy. I actually think I was more considered than shy.
You're just taking it all
But
in.
then I took it, because I was really observant.
But then you then went from if people thought you were shy to then performing in something that most people would think you would need to be super confident for.
Which is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's still, I still can't, I don't know, like,
It's scarier than being a singer because you're not even.
you don't have,
You don't know how it's
'cause
gonna
you don't,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It should have been so, I mean, it must have been stressful, but
Did you not get nervous?
all I did was walk around talking about anything apart from what I was about to do. I wanted an empty head. So when people tried to talk to me about the battle, I would just go, no.
I've parked that on the whiteboard. It's up here.
Pretty much.
We'll wait
And
that.
just, and then I guess it's like the kind of ADHD gun to the head thing. Like in crisis, I'm great. Day-to-day life, I'm fucking useless. And that's
We
kind of
thrive
true.
off of the adrenaline, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's that, boy, I heard someone say this the other day, so I might not repeat it verbatim, but basically by his explanation was that the only concept of time you have is now or not now. So you will delay things until it's the last minute, night before a test, or or night before you've got to hand the paper in, and then you'll do it because of all of the chemicals that you'll release under stress, which are very similar to what you would take medication for, I think was the way he described it. So you're kind of self-medicating by putting things off because you need those chemicals
Oh, that's so
That's
that come from the
interesting.
stress to
I'm
be
taught.
able to perform. And that's why it
That's
won't
what it
get you
is.
as, it might get you to university, but it won't get you through it.
Yeah.
Because, there comes a time when you have to study and you have to have routine and be consistent
You're
in your
describing
work.
my whole life, and it was always, Ash is such a crammer. She's so good, but she
Yeah.
just likes to cram it all in at
It's
the
the gun
end.
to
And
the
I
head.
swear to God,
Yeah.
I could never do anything as well over time as what I could do 12 hours before it's due to be done.
I've not put this into practice yet, but the timer thing, 20 minutes, right? I've got 20 minutes to do as much as I can,
Yeah.
but you never work beyond the 20 or 30 minutes. And then you take a break. You have to force the break as well. Body doubling's a thing as well. And I never realised, like, I would always say, if I've got someone with me, I can get anything done. And it's not
Yes.
because I need help doing the thing. It's because I need to be distracted from the thing to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Which also is like, how is it I'm able to do things without thinking about them? But as soon as I have to think about them, I
Yeah.
freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also you'll do anything else other than that one thing. So
Yeah.
it's like for me, if I had to go and like, there's a thing I've got to do, I will go and like clear out my entire wardrobe.
Rather
See,
than reply to an
rather
email.
than reply to a
Yeah.
text. I'll do something else entirely.
What you like
such
with
a weird
opening
thing.
letters?
Hey,
I can't open letters.
Yeah, we were just literally
can't
just talking
open
about
letters.
it.
I can't answer phone calls. Can't do that.
Mad, isn't it?
I can't do it. I
And
just I physically can't do it.
People think it's like personality traits, and don't realize it's your brain. Like there's things that I don't find hard. I find impossible, and I can't get my head around it. Other than that is my head.
That's crazy. But also, that I think a part
Stop
of that
being lazy.
becomes
Come on, just get it
No,
done.
it's not a
Just
laziness
power
thing.
on.
It's
It's
not.
like
It's not a lazy thing at
It's
all.
And the
really
motivation
not.
comes in waves. That's the other thing. So like you'll get really super interested in something so aggressively for
Yeah.
this amount of time, and it's like you've only got that window because it's just eventually just going to go, and then that's it done. It's funny though because a lot of people who feel similarly are also super creative. Isn't that such a funny thing? How like the industry you're in is a creative industry. You've been so successful doing everything you've done. And that definitely, there's no question that doesn't just go hand in hand.
I think it does. I think the problem is though is that all the things that come with, I guess, the success of it require things that aren't in your skill set or that don't lend themselves or aren't conducive to you being happy. So like noisy environments for me, it's one thing. People go, yeah, but you're fine with crowds. Look at you on stage. You've got thousands of people in front. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not in the crowd.
Yeah, you're not.
A lot of, and then when it's kind of, I don't know, I'm good at putting obligation on things and importance and urgency and applying that myself, which is not good because everything kind of has the same level of importance. It's all important and it can't all be because that's not how you get anything done, thinking about everything at once. But you're under the idea that, okay, I have to go to these things because I have to be seen. And there is an element of, people will forget you if you're not around, but then you're going to places that they're not, I don't know, like I don't do very well in loud venues. There's always a point where it's like, right, I need to go now.
Yeah.
And instead what I would do was drink to kind of quell my senses.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my mate at the pub not long ago. Some of us had our kids there and I was like, mate, it was after the Hackney Half as well, marathon. So it was just full. It was a pub in Victoria Park and it was so, I was like, mate, I can't. And he was like, yeah, the first 2 pints are always a bit awkward. I'm like, you're explaining it. So you're saying the same thing. You're not comfortable here
Yeah.
unless you're, beyond your second pint. And that's reason enough not to drink. I used to have a rule. If I need to drink to be where I am or to be with who I'm with, I'll leave. But I
Yeah,
didn't. I
that's
just
so
broke
good.
that. I broke that rule. I had the drink. I had another drink. I had another drink. I made the call. I took everyone back to my kitchen. My youth was just basically finding a way to facilitate doing things that I did not enjoy.
Oh, don't we
I
talk about it all the
honestly,
time?
I feel like
how-
you're speaking to our souls right
Yeah.
now. This is actually.
But I just wish I could have
I'm not
heard
being funny.
someone's...
This is like a therapy session for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
I just-
much.
Joking. I'm enjoying this so much.
Should we lie
Can
back?
I lie back? And can you take notes in the mental whiteboard?
You know what happens with notes? The flash drive gets written over. I make so many mental notes. I will call that person back. I will reply to that text because it's important. It's urgent. But when everything is important and urgent, you're not memory forming.
Yeah.
You know, you're not making decisions cleanly or clearly. Yeah, it's you. And it's tough when you've spent like your life basically in fight or flight because that's your nervous system. That's your disposition. And then trying to like, you know, I didn't know what it was to be regulated. I didn't know what regulation was.
I don't
you
think a
know?
lot of people do.
And it's
Yeah.
getting to now and being like, right, I have to find... And I kind of found things intuitively without realising just how important they were for me. They're important for everyone, but I think when you're ADHD or autistic, there's things which are of probably more importance, not just the things that you apply importance to, but, you know, like I found ice baths, like, well, cryotherapy, like 12 or 13 years ago. I did a program with Wim Hof, and I always knew how much of a benefit doing that in the morning was, because it's horrible. No one likes getting into water that's 0.1 of a degree. It's horrible.
Nah.
It lives in your head rent free. I go to bed sometimes going, you haven't got time to do that in the morning. What, you haven't got 2 minutes? If that.
I know, listen.
But it creates such
insane.
a
I need to get
different...
mine back out as well.
But it just... It makes things so different for me. Like the benefits are exponential.
Yeah.
The idea of like recharging your social battery, I never knew how important that was. Like I'd always have periodic burnouts, like proper burnouts, like could not move, like my body would not work, could not get out of bed. And that was all burnout. It was all
It's
fatigue. It was
extreme
all
highs as well. Like,
extreme
it's
exhaustion.
nuts how you go through that. Like it's such a mad wave of like that going into how do you, like, we've only experienced it on this level, right? But how do you go into a big massive crowd of people? You can literally, you've said already, you're extremely empathetic. You can feel their energy. You can feel how excited they are. They're all excited, high, buzzing. You're performing. You leave that. You go back to a hotel that night and you're lying in your bed and you're just, your ears are probably ringing from the music.
It's where a lot of problems begin for a lot of
really
people.
just like to go from that to nothing. They're
Yeah.
continuing their night out.
Yeah.
They're going to get hungover the next day.
And
They'll go through
if
the
you
cycle.
do that
but
as
you're,
someone who has to work the next day,
It's a lot.
it gets ever more difficult because there's always a point where it stops.
Yeah.
And you're left with the remnants of everything you've done, which is never fun. But do you know what? Doing stuff sober now is wicked because I'm present. I think I was so worried about what was next early on in my career that I wasn't very present for a lot of it. So I'm so happy in hindsight about all the
Yeah.
stuff that I got to do and accomplish. But there's a lot of wishing I could experience those things with the head over my shoulders now.
Yeah. It's always the what's next. How long's this going to last
Whereas
for?
now it's a
you
bit-
can't just go and get a job. Like, so what if it doesn't work out? Like, you can't just go and rock up to a job set. Like, you're known.
And then
Do
you
know
throw
what I mean?
working class guilt into that, where I think there's a bit of I must be working because if I'm not working, I'm not doing something right.
Yeah.
And actually working a little bit less, but working smarter. But that's where guidance comes into it, and that's where you need. My advice. I mean, I think quite often the best advice is no advice. It's your life, live it, work it out for yourself. But I think a piece of advice, even with that said, that if you can hear it and integrate it, is just build your life with support in the places that you need it versus aligning yourself with people who need support in the same place. Because it's really easy to find your tribe and to like relate by way of your weaknesses and vulnerabilities. But if there's no aspect of your life where you're building support in to the places where you need it most, you're not going to strengthen, because you can work on those things, but they're always going to be your vulnerabilities. They're never going to be your strengths. I think that's probably not that anyone was asking for advice, but
No, but I think
there
it's
is
nice.
anyone young
Yeah,
and
but the
watching.
three
I
of
think
us are
that's
literally sat here like this, taking it all in.
Also,
Yeah.
just like what you were saying about you spend so much time in your 20s, specifically like going to nightclubs. How many of us have said that? The freedom you get in your 30s to go, I don't need to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I can actually, and half the people that were there probably didn't want to be there either, but they just didn't know what to do at the weekend because that's where everyone goes. And in your 30s and 40s, you go, I'm actually going to spend my time doing the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
And doing that, you're going to find the people who are like-minded.
Yep, so true.
That's
so true.
how you find your tribe.
Do you not drink anymore then at all? Or do
No,
you
I've not had a drink in like 18 months, maybe more.
really? We're kind of the same, aren't we? Like, we are so rare. And even then it's like one or two.
It's just not worth it.
It's just not worth
No.
it.
It's more fun without it for
I
us.
love mornings.
So tell me, what is a normal day like for you then? Like, when are you getting up? What are you doing?
Wake up with my son, my co-sleep.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Same.
and we generally, we
Not
don't.
through choice. That's a bedtime crawler, isn't it?
Oh, talking about
Bed
swear.
invader.
Sorry, slight segue. Talking about the swear jar earlier. 2 days ago, I woke up and owed him £2 immediately, and that's only about £4 in nearly 5 years because I never swear in front of him. But the other day, he woke me up by he was asleep, but he must have turned over and had his thumb out with like a balled fist, I imagine, because of how hard he hit me. But there was definitely a thumb, and he just went smack in my eye. So I was dreaming. I woke up. I went, fuck, fuck. And he went, swear jar. And I was like, oh God, sorry. Come here. Yes, I'll give you £2. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you jump, like trying to make it all right immediately. And he's shocked and he's looking at me like, you never swear. You've just like shouted, sworn. Like, what have you? And I'm like, he was like,
don't care if I punched
he just started laughing, going, I think I had my thumb sticking out when I did it, Dad. Because when you swore, I had my hand like that.
Oh,
He's like,
that's
I'm the culprit.
so sweet.
So
it sounds like
funny.
he's your little bestie. That's
Yeah,
so cute. So you
man.
wake up with him in the morning, you'll have the chat.
And then we depending on the time we've woken up, it's normally between 5:30 and 7, and then we don't turn the light on immediately. We have a little giggle, and he always says like his musings of a morning, like first thing in the morning and last thing of the night. He always
Best
wakes
chat
up with
ever.
a thought. There's like a really clear thought, normally relating to something that I thought was really insignificant, in the day previous. And so we'll laugh and cuddle and snuggle, and then he'll have his morning poo as he always does.
Class. As we all should be.
That was the funniest thing. I don't think I said it when I was telling that story about the folding. I was about to blubber. And then he went, Dad, can you wipe my bum? I was like,
Moment's
thanks,
gone.
rescued. Yeah, there you go. Tears
mate,
gone.
that's so funny.
Yeah, and then we wake up, go downstairs, let the dog out, take the dog for a walk.
You got a dog? What kind of dog you got?
Canary Mastiff, Presa Canaria.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Ethel. Sorry.
Ethel. Ethel could fit in with Mabel and Maggie. They're all like older names.
Yeah,
We've got
I
them.
used to have Ethel and Arthur. Sounded like I was shouting after an East End couple in a park. Ethel, Arthur. But yeah, we do that. Breakfast, leave for school. I always try and take him to the park before school.
Nice. Get a
Which-
bit of the energy.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it's fun. I feel sometimes people are looking at me as though there's laziness involved with the way I parent, and I promise you it's the least lazy way of parenting. To not be triggered by my kid's mood is so important, because otherwise all you're giving if you're triggered by how your kid feels, if your kid's having a meltdown, they're having a shit time, but people immediately go into what they feel because of that. And when you do that, you often suppress their feelings, or you encourage them to suppress their feelings. And you can't discipline a 4-year-old. It's either fear or shame. And so I try and parent within safe boundary and give him an example of, I can tolerate your feelings. And that's fucking hard.
Very hard, 'cause
sometimes.
especially when you feel like it's almost like, I remember when the kids were young, sorry to interrupt your story, right? But on that, I remember whenever they used to get upset, I'm talking from babies, even kind of not so much now, but fairly recently, see if they were upset, I used to feel it as if it was my fault. So when the kids were crying, it was almost like they may as well had a voice that was shouting, you're really shit, I'm upset, you're not fixing this. It almost felt like I took it on.
Yeah.
So for you to be so like in tune with other people's emotions, it's amazing how you can like switch that to make it different when it comes to your child, to be like, that's actually not, it's not a problem that I've got. It's not a me problem.
Yeah.
It's just like, we just need to give him a minute.
And then to take that and be able to, because I never had patience anywhere in my life until him, and to be able to take that patience and apply it to life outside of parenting is, it doesn't always work. It doesn't, but for the most part, that's my approach to it. And it's taught me loads, like patience. My great grandmother always used to say patience is a virtue, and I was like, impatience, urgency.
Yeah.
And then he came along and it changed. And I think with that, like it's the hardest thing. It would be easier to just raise my voice.
What's the phrase? If a child needs you to share your calm, not join the chaos.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yep.
Which makes so much sense, because it is so easy to just be like, oh, okay, we're annoyed now. We're all
Yeah.
annoyed.
Especially when you're parenting on your own and you're doing everything. You're tired. Your ability to rationalize is the first thing to go when you're tired. Prefrontal cortex, again, you lose, executive function. This was kind of intuitive as well. I started getting to a point where I was like, I don't want people to ask me how I am beyond 7 o'clock of an evening, because I'm not going to give them like it's never going to be optimistic, it's never going to be up, it's never going to be, and then you start to feed into that misery and you're like, oh, I am unhappy, I am tired, I am, and then you wake up and you're like, I'm none of those things. So I just try and park all that.
Yeah, you just need to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you an early bedder then? Because you're up pretty early.
It says go to bed.
It just says go to bed. I need one of these.
Is that when you're pressing the remote? Is that
No.
to tell you go to bed?
It's actually been quite a good option.
Right, okay.
Do you know what? Might actually be a trend that should be set. That's it. So you're an early bedder then? And you're
Yeah, I go to bed with my son.
oh, that's so nice.
And I wear a Whoop.
2 wee mates.
Keeps me honest.
What's your score on it?
Around about 85% generally.
That's
My
good.
recovery is always a little bit more yellows than greens, but it keeps me honest. I know where I'm at. It's good. I don't feed into like if I wake up and I feel all right and then I look at it and I've had a poor night's sleep, I don't go, oh no, I must feel awful.
Yeah.
Whereas if I wake up and I've had a good score but I don't feel great, I'm like, no, you push through, you're fine.
Yeah.
So it gets the good out of me.
You give it a positive spin. I quite like
Yeah.
that. That's good.
Yeah, I love
so
sleep
much.
though. I can't believe I spent so long just avoiding it.
Being
That's the
awake.
30s and 40s again,
So
though, isn't
long
it?
being awake.
Yeah.
Actually, that's
Why
what you were
would you
to
doing.
fight
bed.
it? Why did anyone ever want to do an all-nighter?
I know.
Why would you give up the best bit of the day?
Ooh, I don't mind seeing the sun coming up, but I like to have woken up.
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
true.
100%.
Well, actually, I'm not going to keep you for much longer because it's getting to about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't want you to say you've got no optimism left
Yeah,
anymore.
no, these lights are not letting the melatonin.
He's like, actually, can you just let me go?
It's disrupting my melatonin.
Exactly. The Whoop said I was there too long last night, just draining the social battery. Right, I wanted to ask you, the girls and I put a few things together and it's on Scottish food, right? It's a bit of a smash or pass, quick fire,
Okay.
right? Haggis.
I'm not well experienced. I don't know what I can. Yeah,
Oh my
I'm
God.
not scared of food, so I'll try.
Have you not
As long
tried
as it's not
haggis?
cheese. As long as it's not cheese, I have a real physical response to the
No,
smell
there's
of
no.
melting cheese.
But guess what?
I know
Really?
haggis is not cheese, but
Yeah,
like
no.
really
Is
is.
it the balling in the throat kind of thing?
Yeah,
That's
like
what
it's a
I
real
was
physical
into.
response to it. It's
Can't-
mad. Like there's a like a cultured dairy product in Morocco called smin. They put it in the Herrera, and no one else can smell it. I can smell it a mile away.
Oh. Have you? Are you going to be in Glasgow around the 25th of January? Because that's Robert Burns Day, and haggis
It's
is going to be
everywhere.
everywhere.
I say if you're going to try it for the first time, I
Yeah.
think you should try
I've
it
gotta
in
try it here.
try it in a bowl format.
Start-
Haggis bowl.
Do you know
Haggis
where?
bun.
In fact, just off Byers Road, the Bothy. Have you seen that? It's
Get in
just
there for
down. I
dinner.
can't remember the name of the lane.
nice.
The Bothy do haggis, neeps and ties with a whiskey sauce.
They
Oh my
do.
god, 10 out of 10.
I feel like you would like it if you're happy to try it, but we're not giving that a score now. That's just
I feel like I can't. Yeah.
And
not tried it.
inexperienced.
Inexperienced in the haggis.
Well, try.
I wish you'd said that before now. I wish we knew that because I had some hot
Well,
haggis
I'm here on
bonbons
the
in
fifth.
here.
You know, I think PG fast food opens on the 5th of March, so you know.
Oh yeah.
Come on, you need
can.
to do it.
I'll give you a UFO. You give me some haggis.
I mean,
That's
a UFO haggis situation should be really in there.
Ooh.
A haggis.
Get me on your marketing team. I'm Brew. Smash or pass?
Smash, but the original recipe,
Yes.
which you can still get in glass bottles. Thank God.
Yeah.
It's
What do you think it tastes like?
I had this conversation really recently. I don't know.
It tastes like iron brew. There is no other taste.
It's one of those things where there isn't. I can't compare it to anything.
Bubblegum. A lot of my friends who are
It's
from
not
England say
bubblegum.
I'd like
I
to
take
try it
offence
and
to
they
it.
say it tastes like bubblegum.
No.
Yeah, but then if you were to try that, there is a Hubba Bubba drink. It doesn't taste anything like iron.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I love that.
Drink.
We've just eradicated that conspiracy. Tablet.
What?
Not that kind of tablet.
not a tablet that maybe you would know.
Remember that time I told you?
Have you not tried Scottish tablet?
No.
It's like almost like fudge, but it's like super, super sweet. It's almost like 99% sugar, but it's
It is, basically.
unreal.
Right, I feel like these
We're
next
gonna
two
give
you're
you a
dead-
list, a
you're-
to-do
I'm gonna-
list.
Do you know what?
We
It's
need
not
to- we need
Christmas,
to
you're gonna-
revisit this.
We're
We
gonna,
do.
see next time you're here, please tell us, and we will bring you a hamper of things that you need to try and give us a review on. Right? Deep fried Mars bar.
Yeah, it's like a fritter.
Have you tried it?
Absolutely. But do you know what? I haven't, but I've had something quite similar. I'm not like I always thought it was weird that people were so like repulsed by it, and I'm like, but it's like a fritter. I just drew a straight. Like to me, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, you could imagine exactly what it tastes like. See if you have a melted Mars bar and you have something with any kind of batter on it.
Yeah.
It just amalgamation of the two. That's all you need to know.
I'd say so.
You
Yeah.
like it? Smash.
Yeah, smash.
Great. Also with a bit of ice cream.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it needs
hot
to
and
be.
cold.
Hot and cold
Yeah.
combinations. Beautiful.
I'm going to say salt and vinegar on it.
You could as well. I
You
feel
could
like you could go
anything
either
salty
way.
chocolate's
It's
always
like
the
the-
way.
Yeah, salt and chocolate's a winner.
Yeah, the Co-op salt and vinegar crisps with a bit of Galaxy on top.
Oh, it's a great combination. It's a
combo.
winner. Have you ever tried a pizza crunch?
Oh, what?
Pizza crunch.
Nah, talk to me.
Right. I think this might be a specific.
I can do mozzarella, by the way.
I can do mozzarella
which
too.
I just recently found out that I actually really like.
You just
Yeah.
need to chew. Just use them teeth,
But
girl.
not hot mozzarella.
So
if
that
it's
you
not
can't do
done
pizza.
right.
You can't do pizza.
No, I can do
Okay.
pizza. It's like one of my favourite food groups.
Right.
But
Food group.
Mashed potato.
I can't do it. See, the thought of like a cheese string or something,
Yeah.
I can't do anything like that.
A pizza crunch. Lauren and I were a massive fan of these, right? This is when you go to like a fish and chip shop, a chippy, right? And they will take a pizza, dip it in the batter that they put I know, it's phenomenal. Just give yourself a wee second. They dip it in the batter and then they deep fry it. So you're not only getting the cheese pull of the pizza, but it's coated in batter. That is a delicious combination.
Healthy relationship with food.
Yeah,
The
Exactly.
food doesn't have to be healthy as long as you've got a healthy relationship with
Absolutely.
it.
You could
I
get a
reckon
quarter.
that could be but yeah. I'm probably leaning more towards a smash on that. To be fair, it makes sense.
That's the one.
Do you want to know
That's it.
something really embarrassing that I did on my first trip to Scotland when I was on that tour with Mike Skinner? We went for a breakfast extremely hungover. Someone, the waiters come up and asked what I wanted. They went, "Oh, can I have a full English, please?" And he just looked at me. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, "What? Oh yeah,
rookie mistake.
You never.
never happened again."
Rookie
But were you, I
mistake.
take it you got the full Scottish.
I did, yeah.
Were you pleasantly surprised?
Did you
It was
like the
banging?
potato
What's
scone?
the potato scone? Bah!
Yeah.
You said
Square
potatoes are your
good.
favourite food group.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
think
I
and
miss-
square
I miss-
Square
sausage.
sausage.
Square sausage.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I mean, every time I go and visit my family down south, I have to go to Costco and get the packs of square sausage and like take that down with us as well.
And black pudding.
And black pudding and the potato scones.
Yeah, I'm not black pudding.
I don't like it.
I love it all.
You do. You like haggis out of tin, but so.
Listen, we're not here to shame
I'm
anyone.
not shaming, I'm just saying.
I actually cook a lot of things from scratch, but I can't go and get the wee haggis and kill it, you know?
so
That
if
was
anyone's
class.
coming to visit you at PJ Fast Food, it's March time.
Yeah, early March on Byers Road. Come and get UFO.
Oh,
They're
cannot
out
wait.
of this world.
Oh, that's the tagline.
Stephen, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you
so
Love
much for having
having
me.
you. And yeah, can't wait to go and try PG Fast Foods when it's out.
I
Well,
know.
you're all
Listen,
welcome.
we'll be the first
Come
one
and
to
see
hear.
us for the launch party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Thanks so
Class.
much. Bye.
Thank you. I don't know why I just did that. Fuck me, that's awkward.
It's very
Please keep that
hilarious.
in.